For those who don't know, Mark has a bald back apart from a big lump of hair on the left-hand side. Not anymore. So, in Croatia, we thought there'd be no better wedding present that we could offer Sarah than the gift of waxing Mark's back on her behalf. Judging by that, I don't think I'll let us do it again. You can see that with Mark as well. Moving on to the second wave of comments now. And my third informant really dwelled upon his reason for loving Mark, really speaking from the heart. Fourth and finally, this comes from two sources, and this for the majority of you will be the first and last time you'll ever hear this in a sentence. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. On a family retreat to Centre Parks, Mark drank too much and proceeded to jump outside and throw up, only to see his projectile mess get up and waddle off in the shape of a duck. Let this be a lesson, is that if Mark's ever drinking in your home with you, keep your pets outside. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one looking at Sarah thinking how beautiful she looks today, and how has Mark managed to pull this off. Growing up through the peaks and troughs of friendship, we were always trying to outdo each other. Who could do the most kick-ups with a football? That was me. Who would be the first one to pluck up the courage to speak to a girl? That was Mark at the age of 18. Looking at Sarah look this beautiful today makes me realise Mark has hit the biggest peak in his life. And it also makes me fear that it's my job to find as beautiful a bride nearly impossible. I know Mark often feels quite inferior to Sarah's beauty and often thinks of ways to pretty himself up. As well as the pink and purple girly boxer shorts you saw earlier, Mark also straightens his hair. And, as we found out on Mark's stag do in Newcastle, he also cross-dresses. Oh.
Oh man.
I guess that.
That's really good. Should we skip off that? Onto the serious stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is me. Coming on to my thank yous. Firstly, I'd like to get the bridesmaids and the flower girls standing, please. There we go. Hands up in the air. So firstly, it's customary on behalf of the bridesmaids and flower girls to thank Mark for his speech. So on behalf of Claire, Hannah, Rachel, Aidan and Hattie, boom! Thank you, Mark, for your glorious speech. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to say how beautiful the bridesmaids look today, and thank you for your roles today. Please give me a round of applause. You may now sit down. They were obviously only outshone rightfully by the bride. Sarah gets her beauty obviously from her mother. I can't see where she's actually gone. There she is, looking divine today. And her father Hugh, who I'd quickly like to thank for his speech. Can we give a round of applause again? Thank you from everyone here for bringing such an amazing young woman into our lives, especially into Mark's. On that note, thank you for bringing Mark into our lives, Diane and Trevor. Have a straight face. In all honesty, you've brought up the most caring, down-to-earth and selfless man I know. The man I am better for knowing. I may be the best man today, but your son has been my best man for the last 15 years, so thank you. I'd like to take a second to thank both sets of parents for their efforts and resources in making today the momentous occasion it is, so please join me in a big round of applause. And just to reiterate Mark's comments from earlier, thank you to all the staff at Burford Bridge for their attention to detail and efforts for today. Thank you to my ushers. Thank you guys for your roles today and your support in making the Stag Do the epic occasion it was. You've all done a fantastic job. Thank you. Sarah, thank you ever so much for making the biggest smile I know shine brighter than ever before. I've not finished! I've never seen Mark as happy as he is when he is next to you. Thank you very much. And finally, thank you, Mark. That's it. My speech is done. Thank you, Mark. For those who don't know, I moved to Australia 15 months ago, and although I've acclimatised to my new home, I could never acclimatise to not having Mark in my life. Mate, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for bestowing me this honour. There's been no greater privilege in my life than to stand by your side today. On that, I've got a glass in my hand. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to rise to my speech. My speech? My toast! That was a warm-up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to join me as we wish all the happiness in the world in the marriage of Mark and Sarah. To Mark and Sarah!
Mark and Sarah!